Welcome to the first episode of the Closer's Mindset.
What's up, everybody?
How we doing? So we got
Caps.
Capto and myself, Lynch here, and we're here to talk a little bit about closing in COVID. And that's going to be our first episode. This is the very first time we're online, so bear with us. It's going to be a little clunky, but the whole idea of this is to put something out there for the road warriors, the first call closers, the ones in the grind, the hustlers, the ones that are passionate about what they do and how they do it. It's for the in-home sales rep because there's nobody out there speaking for us, and now you have a voice. And it's for those that just want to close more, have fun talking about it, and learn more about their craft. Wouldn't you agree, Caps?
That's right, man. We're all in this together, even though we're at different companies, different sectors of this industry, right? But we got to support each other and share.
So a little background on us. Caps, you've been doing this for how many years now?
Just a couple.
Just a couple, right?
Yeah,
So you're fresh
yeah,
into it, but
fresh into it.
you got a good fresh mindset about it. You love what you do.
Yep.
You're really, entrenched into it. I've been doing this for 22 years now. Doubling down on the deuces, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And I love in-home first call close sales. I love everything about it, the idea of it, the ins and outs, the psychology of it, and just getting to meet new people every day in the home, right? And then sometimes having that windshield time is kind of cool.
I love my windshield time.
It's that downtime,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's that decompressed time, right?
Yeah. People, I don't know about you, when you're talking to your customers, you're like, I'm heading over here now. That's a long drive. I don't even care. You get to see the sunshine. You get to experience more of the world than most people do. So that's true. That the windshield time is something else. So
Good reflection or bad reflection. It can go both ways, right?
It can go both ways. It depends on how the
We're going to save that
went,
for
right?
another episode. But today we're going to start off on something real important, and that's COVID, right? Closing in COVID, how it's changed our industry, what it's done for in-home sales, and what it's done for the sales rep now, and how they have to do it differently, because now it's not just going into the home anymore, right? Now you have the virtual appointments that are out there, or sometimes you have customers that are just stopping you at the door. And you have to sit outside. Right. So, and depending on what weather is, that can be really warm or really cold, depending on where you're at.
It's funny because I'm kind of I'd be like, when they say like, oh, you're a product of this, you're born into that. I started as COVID hit. So I don't know what life was like before that. So I think that'll be interesting to hear your feedback on that. Because to me, everything I've experienced has been COVID and beyond.
I mean, really, the only difference is now you have to really have a different play on that intelligence portions of reading the room and reading the person, because now with the masks on still, that's not changing yet. That probably won't go away for a little while. I can't see your facial expression anymore, right? Just like when you're listening to me now, you can't see my face. You just listen to a podcast.
Right.
You don't know what I look like. You can envision and think what I look like. Well,
yeah. Handsome,
I don't.
Rugged.
Of course. I mean, come on. But like, you're in front of a customer, you don't have that ability. I don't know if you're smiling or if you're frowning. So I got to read it in your eyes now. I got to look at your body language more. Are you leaning in? Are you leaning out? And then I got to really make sure I develop a little bit more rapport going into that home, looking at every little nuance of that customer to find some kind of bond. Because we have to, I have always called this the miracle workers, because you're going into a complete stranger's home, right? And 3 hours later, you're walking out with a deal.
Yeah, tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, same day.
Complete strangers.
Same day.
Yeah.
So you've only known all you've known is COVID. I know before and after in COVID. What have you noticed though in COVID? With having to wear a mask now, have you think it's hurt you or helped you?
I think right away it hurt. Everyone felt like it hurt. Maybe that's the right way to put it. But I think pretty soon, once you realize this is the normal, you started figuring out ways to figure it out. So. Yeah, I know a trick I had was walking to the door without the mask, putting it on at the very last minute, just so they had a moment to see your actual face, and then, yeah, certainly you get the people who say, I don't need you to wear a mask, but you got company policies. There's all sorts of stuff to consider. But,
you could also do a big, put a big ID in front of you so they can see your smiling face, right? Right. Have that on your chest, like your brand right there, so they can see your face.
Like because, Superman, you pull back the button shirt.
You have to have it, right? And depending on what company you work for, some companies out there, the smaller ones, they're a little more lenient. You can go in there, customer says they don't want a mask, you can rip your mask off. The bigger companies, you're going to have to wear that mask. It doesn't matter. It's their policy. You have to go by that policy there. Now,
I think, I don't know about you, but it came down to the breathing, almost like practicing your breathing So when you got that mask on, you're not just sucking wind as you're trying to breathe through that suck. Do you feel the same way? Do you ever
I
encounter
change
that?
my masks every half hour, every half hour to an hour. I change the mask out just so I have that a little bit better with that. Plus, I use it as a conversation piece with the customer. So now we talk about masks, good or bad. You know, whether they like it, it's a good idea, or they can't stand it, or what they've done. It's just a little bit of a conversation piece that we have for those folks. Now, have you had anything other than your, face to face? Have you had to do any of these virtual over like this Zoom call stuff or anything?
I've done a lot of virtuals. I mean,
And how's that going for you?
Yeah, it's fine for me. Some guys
Do you
struggle
like
with
it better than going in the home, or do you like going in the home better?
I like going to the home better, definitely, because there's nothing beats that in-person connection. The virtual appointments, I happen to be good at them, so they get assigned my way. I have a background in that kind of sphere, right? So it's very natural for me to speak to people on camera. But and every now and then you get those first call closes on there. I've heard people treat the virtual as we want to use the virtual to get into the home, which is, I guess, fine. But my goal is always, when I'm talking to you, I'm going to get you a price point, build up value, get you a price point, and try to get the sale. But it just doesn't, you can't replicate that in-person experience.
The touch, the feel.
The touch, the feel of Charmin, right? The the fabric of our lives. But no, it's just untouchable, online. And you can show people like, hey, I'm at the showroom and here's this window. But, for me, in a product demo, I get hands-on as much as possible, touch this sash lift and all that kind of stuff. And that builds that value in home. So not complaining, though. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
That better than that customer not calling your company.
That's right. Well, right now, COVID's been a blessing in this industry. All right. We're busy. We're all busy.
Which is
every company slammed.
Yep.
I've been in business for a long time. I have a lot of friends in it. They're all busy. They all have record numbers.
Record numbers.
So really right now is the best time, and it's only going to get more difficult, and it's only going to change more as we get out of COVID, because, in the COVID times, which I'm really thankful for being in this, business and industries, because everybody's home, they're stuck at home. So they're looking at everything in their home. So in-home sales is through the roof. Yeah. Everybody's getting work done on their home. Regardless of what you're selling. You could sell roofs, you could sell windows, you could sell kitchens, you could sell garages, you could do additions, you could do big and small. It doesn't matter.
Well, about you got people saying, hey, well, okay, thank you for that $40,000 estimate. That's going to be part of what we're doing to the home.
Yeah.
We're doing flooring and furnace and all this new stuff all at the same time, to your point.
That'll be another episode on how to prioritize your product.
How to make yourself the priority.
Yes, absolutely. Exactly. Right. That's another
when
one.
It's not as part of, when it's part of, oh, we're just doing this all on our home equity loan or something like that. Cool. I know I got it shot. But when it's, we're going to choose between the furnace or the windows or this, that's its own challenge for sure.
So what else have you noticed with the COVID now that's changed for you in selling? Now, you said you just started, but you started just before it started. I mean, you hit and had
just
a little bit before.
Yeah, it was probably like a month or two of selling where it wasn't a thing. And then when it became a real thing, I was, it's probably like in it for about a month, laid off for 2 weeks while the company figured out, I think everyone was trying to figure out, what does this look like now? I think everyone thought they were going to go out of business. I don't know.
Sure. The company I'm with freaked out. Everybody freaked out. Every company I talked to, they all freaked out, shut things back. And then slowly everything went, it almost like it was like a stock that went down from like $1 to like 2 cents, and then all of a sudden shot up to like $100 to 300 or something like insane. Kind of like the GameStop stock right now, right?
Right. Yeah. Although that's tempered a little bit, sadly, but no, it's from my brief experience pre-COVID to afterward, I think you have to gain the trust no matter what season of life we're in, right? Whether it's COVID or not, you had to build that trust. But I feel like people are a little bit more on edge. The ones that are on edge.
That's the only thing I think has changed.
Yeah, the ones that are on edge are more on edge.
Yeah, they're more on edge. I don't think anything has changed at all in this. It's just COVID is all it is. It's just like an objection. Doesn't matter what the objection is in the home. Okay, COVID. Okay, so what? Give me another objection. So now you're going to make me wear a mask. Okay, I'm still going to go in and do what I got to do, and I'm going to close that deal. All right, because that's who I am. All right, now I got to wear. Okay, now I got to put gloves on. Okay, now I got to do. Okay, fine. As long as we have that kind of, and I think it goes back to having that right mindset. And this is the reason why we called this the closer's mindset. Me and you talked about this quite a bit about is really the mentality and the attitude. And I think that's really COVID's really shown the true colors on some of the reps out there if they can handle and maintain their own mindset because people are closed off more. And people don't have that feel, and they still got to go out and sell it still, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And as you manage, right? So it's like you talk to people who probably have that excuse. Well, if it hadn't been for COVID, this and that, or whatever. And anytime I hear a rep have an excuse, and I'm not a manager, I've been in this a couple of years, but that mindset piece is, every lead's a good lead. Every opportunity is an opportunity. And that idea that, that there's an outside reason that didn't work out, that's not true.
Well, in this business, it always, it's very funny when you're in management and you're as a sales rep. It's always two different things because sales reps, when we're out there selling, it's do or die each time. That's our livelihood, right? Yeah. And then when we're in management, because I've been on both sides of it, you're looking at it on a whole as a group. But when you're out there getting it, and you're on commission sales. So if you don't sell, you don't feed your family. Right. So what I had to do in selling, and I had to do now, is I don't look at the individual sale. I have to look at the overall, and I just keep my head straight. So this whole COVID thing, and I really followed it in the very beginning, and then I shut it down. I rarely follow the news even now. I don't listen much to the COVID. Pretty much I just follow whatever regiments and orders, like whether you're going to get the shot or not. I really don't care. I'm not worried about it. There's too much conspiracy theories. I don't care. I just want to go close deals. All right. So then I go, okay, whatever. I'm going to go close deals. That's what I'm going to do. And it's going to give me that much more of the ability to do it and keep my head straight and not have to worry about all the BS in the world. Because too many times I feel we get caught up into that, right? Now I got a mask, so I can't close. Or now I have to do a remote, remotely go out there and do a virtual appointment on Zoom.
Right. I was told use the virtual to get in the home, and I started selling them over virtual, and my managers were like, what's going on? How is that possible? Same process, different platform. So no, that's good. Honestly, I think COVID has helped us. It's only made the job more challenging. It's only made, me personally hone my, put in that groundwork with people to gain that trust. And if the mask is the silliest thing that's going to keep them from trusting me because they haven't seen my face yet, well, I did something else wrong. You know what I'm saying? So coming from the newbie.
Now, how have you noticed it as you've grown with your company now? What's the differences you've seen? Where do you see difference now? Yourself being a newbie in the business, you're one of many. We're not going to say how many, but you see different mindsets out there, different people, different reps. I want to ask you first, and I'll answer the same thing.
Yeah. Specifically related to COVID, you mean, or just in general?
Yeah, in general. Just in general. It's all been COVID anyway. So,
right.
During these times, what have you noticed with these other individuals?
I think we touched on a lot of it, and just in terms of justifying it, their non-sales as a COVID excuse or whatever. That you see that all the time. And people just kind of settling. I treat this like we talked about, who this is for. The road warriors, and those are people who take this more than just a job. It's a craft, it's an art, it's a passion, right? So, to a lot of guys, I think it is just a job. And you can tell, by how they treat the process. Every company has like different, I'm sure your company
boggles my mind when people don't want to go for more.
Right? Yeah.
We're sales reps, like. Where's that competitiveness?
Yeah.
Like you're willing to settle for this? Like what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Like why? I'm not settling at all. I want it all and then some.
Right.
I want my cake. I want the whipped cream on top with the sprinkles and the cherry on top,
Right.
and I want a second one next to it.
Yeah.
Why not? And who says we can't have all that and then some?
Like the March numbers just came in, and I saw, I'm fourth in the company for sales in this region.
And how does that make you feel?
Terrible.
Why?
Terrible. It doesn't even matter that, that I know the people who just hired me are thinking, hey, we just hired this guy. He's doing great for his first full month of selling. That's great to be the, top at, echelon. But I'm like, that's top, 10%. But I want to be number one. And that drives me every single day. So
it's the key ingredients. That's what separates that top echelon, in our business and what we do and why we're creating this. For those road warriors, for those people that go out there and do the first call close, for the ones out there, in the grind, getting it every day. It's all about how you look at it and how you really look at your job. And if you look at it as it's at the leads, Anybody, if you're a guy that says anything about the leads, and don't get me wrong, I've said it many a times, and it probably won't be the last time. There's times when I've looked at it, I'm going, yeah, that's a pretty shitty lead, okay? Been there, done that,
Right.
okay?
Yep.
We've all said it, but you can't do that in this business and be successful. You almost got to fake yourself out. You got to fake yourself out. Every lead's a great lead, and just look at everything as an opportunity. And there's times, I mean, have you ever rated that time where you're out closing somebody and you go to that lead and you go there and you don't think you got a deal at all, and you just go through it because that's what your boss told you to do, right? And you do it anyway, and all of a sudden, you're like, wow, they might buy. And then, shit, lo and behold, they sign a contract. Just because you did and followed exactly the process with it.
Case in point today, I was in a rougher part of town. It was literally a house that was falling down. Like this house was falling down. We sell a premium product. You know, it's not a cheap product. And when I laid down that price, he said, okay. I went through the process. I never prejudged. You know, I assumed the sale. That's something I talk about often. Just when people are like, hey, what are you doing different or whatever? Assume the sale. Assume you're going to make the sale when you walk in, and that changes how they even interact with you because they can tell they're going to buy from you. And so this guy bought from me. He's like, wait, I'm signing this today. He asked me, I'm signing this today. I said, yeah. Like, whatever. Nope. When are you comfortable signing this or not?
What do you think?
You know, I just said, yeah. Oh, so you need a deposit right now? Yeah, I do. And he just said, oh, okay. And he went and got his credit card. But again, rough part of town. Literally, this home was in disarray, like falling apart. And every inclination to anyone going in with prejudice would have been, you know, they're going to put
quick pitch in and out, right?
Yeah, just cheap windows is probably what these guys are going for. I don't want to waste my time, but I spent the time. I made them laugh, got to know them, and by the end of it, they're like, "You're our guy for sure." So yeah, you never know.
You don't know. You never know why people are going to buy, and you never know what you're going to run into the scenario. Doesn't matter what home you're in. I don't care if you're in the $1 million home or in a home worth $10,000. It really doesn't matter. So it's a name, address, and phone number. Don't get me wrong. There's sometimes we don't want to go down into the hood, or we're afraid to go in the lower end, or whatever you want to call it. But I can tell you right now, there's a lot of times I've been up in the hoity-toities, and it's been 10 times worse because somebody doesn't want to give me the time of day. We've all been to that appointment there where that person just points you to the direction there and doesn't have the time of day.
Those are the product. That's the project right there. And I've got a phone call, so let me know the price.
Man, those are the funnest.
You clearly care about this, so why should I?
Right? We're just sitting there trying to get, we're coming up with every question in the world to try to get this person engaged, right? And they're just not, oh, man.
This is something I'll probably talk about a lot. I mean, that fuels my perspective as we get into this podcast. It's about people to me. It's not about money. And some guys make it about money, and that's why they're really good people. But even that difference, because how eager does someone get driving up to a $750,000 house? Super eager because they're hoping, oh, maybe the note said 20 windows. I don't even know. There wasn't any description of what this could be. And they get in, what's the person want? Like, I just want to change this casement. It's like
in the bathroom
or whatever.
And I don't want anything else done.
Yeah, or it's the guy who gives you no time of day, and he's like, I've got busy. Just email me this, and you literally meet him for a second, or his kid answers the door. You don't even meet the homeowner. So to me, it's like that mindset puts me in a bad place to think about what could I get out of this customer before I'm even in the room. So when I think about the people, that eliminates that prejudice, that bias about what could this get for me money wise, and in so doing gets me the money that you're seeking, right?
All you got to do is treat this like a game. It's just a game and have fun with it. See, I love games. Games are fun. And I love people. I have fun with people. I'm always intrigued about their life stories, what they've been through, how they got where they're at. So I mean, the best closers are the ones that are able to really read that room. I call it street sales. Be able to go in and connect with them quickly and find something. Like, there's not a time that I go to a grocery store that I'm not looking at the person in front of me or behind me and their stuff to see if there's something in there that I have of interest that they bought. Not that I bought, that they bought. A, to see maybe if I want it. B, to have a conversation with the person because I like to talk to people.
Right, yeah.
But I do the same thing when I go into the home. Anytime I'm in the home, I'm looking. I was just home the other day, and And I see this lady, and I see she has all this different stuff up there. She has some biblical postings, so she does Sunday school. So we talked a little bit about that. So she takes care of the kids, and I think, okay, that's really cool. And then they found out she loves animals, right? So we talked a little bit about her animals in there and how long she takes care of them, and she babysits, and like she just does all kinds of just neat little things, right? And you're like this, like, finding out about the people and building that bond and that relationship is one of the key components to this. And it's not even about making the sale. That just comes naturally. That's just a natural conclusion to this. And if you treat it that way, and you're just competitive about your, being on top and not worrying about the amount of sales, and you just got to be number one, you'll be successful. The money will come. Right. It always does.
It's like going to the gym. Natural outcome of going to the gym, you're going to put on some muscle, right? You're going to get in shape.
What do you think some of the keys to your success starting off since you're a new guy?
That's a good question. I think what I came into this with was just that heart for people drives me, just to treat people well and have fun. That's what I tell myself every day before I get in the road. Just treat people well today and have fun, and that will be a successful day. And the sales just come, and I don't have to worry about, I got to make sales. I don't focus on quotas. I know the managers do, I don't think about that. So I don't know. It's ignoring bad advice when you hear it, because being new, everyone's got something to say. I can't tell you how many people told me sandbag, and for me, going into the next month, hold on to that 40K. That'll help you reach your next month's quota. And to me, that it's not, I want to be the best. I want to be the top. And if that 40K is going to put me over the next guy, that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to be hungrier the next month because I don't have padding leading into that coming month. So those are some of the things.
Sell it right the first time and keep selling.
Right.
Trust your instincts.
Oh man, I can't tell you how many people just making mistakes in the orders that cost them thousands of dollars in commission by having I don't know if your company does it that way too. My last company, did that as well, where if you made mistakes, it was coming out of your commission. So many guys just don't take their time. It's such an easy job. You just take your time. Do you agree?
I think it's so important, especially during that portion of it, because that's where, most companies miss, not companies, but the reps, companies all teach it the same way. And companies all have the right attitude and mindset as far as teaching it to the reps. It's the reps that take it and make it their own and think they know the best way to do it. Because see, what you got to learn about reps, and I learned this about myself. All right. And if you're a rep listening to this, you'll know you have the same traits. We take the path of least resistance. We're sales reps. Yep. It's what we do. Show me the easiest way to get it done and still make it. Oh, yeah. We're sales reps. That's what we do, right? So we got to untrain ourselves sometimes that, that may not be the right way. Just because it's the easiest way, and that's where you really run that fine line. And, the easiest isn't always the right. And that's where you make the differences, and that separates, the real, as I call it, the real pros. You don't have to be dirty to be good in this business. Right. And I grew up in this business when, it was just when the 10 men were leaving in this industry. We were still wearing suits in this business, going into the home. And it's a completely different world now. And it wasn't much dirty. There wasn't any reviews online. You had the Better Business Bureau. That's it. Now you have, there's so many nuances in with this now. And we're going to save that for some other episodes too. But like technology now, there's so much more involved with technology. How do you pitch in a home now with that? So much more information. What do you say now? And people are getting other estimates. How do we close when somebody wants to get another estimate? They're getting, they say, I got 3 other people coming from my bathroom, right? What are you going to do now? All right. Or they say, hey, I got 2 other roofing guys coming out. What are you going to do now? So these are the things that in the coming episodes, as we keep going into this and talking about in-home first call closing, how do you overcome these objections? Because that's a big thing. But I think the biggest thing that most reps miss is this right here, and I'm pointing to my head. It's that mindset, right?
Yeah.
It's the it's what they think, because so many times when I'm listening to other reps, they worry too much about their job. They worry about whether they're making the sale. They're going to worry about how their numbers look, what their quota is, and they think about all these things, not realizing subconsciously they're just screwing themselves. Because they're putting all this thought process into there. But if they just put their real thoughts into what they're doing and how to do it better, they'd be much better.
Well, to that end, we all get the same leads respectively. If you and I walked into a home, there might be different outcomes.
No way. Really?
Not you and I, but you know what I mean?
No way. No, people don't get, you mean do you mean most leads are pretty much the same? Is what you're trying to say?
That's what I'm trying to say.
No way. No. I know too many people right now to tell you that's not the truth.
Right.
Those things aren't the same. There's definitely a difference in leads, right? There isn't. I've been in this game way too long. As long as I've been into it and how many houses I've been into, a lead's a lead. You know, you'll never know what you get into until you go to it. And I've watched it. We've all been there. We just don't want to. Lots of times we have these egos, so we tell ourselves differently, right? Yeah. It was the lead, not me.
Right. It wasn't me. But then we all have the same tools. You know, your company gives all your reps the same tools. I've got the same tools as the other reps in my company, and the same tools as the reps in your company a lot of times.
Well, that's what I mean. It's all different. It's like my company, they have great trainers. Well, guess what? Your company has great trainers too, and so does that company. Yep. And that's what we always say. You know, I tell the next sales guy to me, don't think that we just have all the great tools here, because that next guy over there or the next girl over there, they have all the same tools too. Yeah. And they have a great sales trainer trying to help them out. Just as we're trying, you know, we're all in here trying to help each other. It's the same thing. It's no different. And they have a lot of good people, and there's a lot of good companies out there. There are all these bad companies, as you know, some reps go into these homes and try to
scare them into business.
Scare tactics, right?
Yeah.
You know,
everyone else is bad. You should go with me.
You know, and showing all these.
I'm
things.
the least bad of the bad.
It's just interesting. It's just interesting.
But that's the point. I mean, if we give everyone the same tools and there's all these different outcomes, what is the difference there? It's the mindset of the person doing it. You know, so that's what we're here to talk about. And this hasn't been posted online yet, but like I hope as we gain viewers and listeners and whatever, we get questions and different stories and all that kind of stuff. We'll be putting that into the podcast as well.
Oh, we'll be adding people in the podcast.
Exactly.
Right?
We'll be having experts on. We're
gonna have other closers on. People to talk about it, talk about the stories, talk about the chaoses that we run into.
We're gonna hot seat some non-closers, and they're not gonna know what they're doing. Just kidding. Wouldn't that be funny though?
Have a little video out on what not to do.
Yeah. Just let the guy think we're interviewing. Hey, we just want you to be on our chill podcast, bro. And he's probably narcissistic enough to think it's about him. Yeah, cool. Anyway.
So let me ask you this, Caps. What do you think is the biggest successes for you? And when you look at this in your career right now, and you've had some really good successes last month, you're kicking ass, right? Yeah. You're closing good numbers, what, 35, 40%?
Yeah, it's right around there. Yeah.
So what would you say has led to your success there? If you had to pick three of the things that you do mindset-wise.
Mindset-wise? I think to your point of look at the bigger picture, you know, when you walk out of that home, I just know if there's a no, I believe there's a yes coming. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate when people tell me no, as maybe backwards as that sounds, but every time someone says no, I know there's another yes coming. So I don't think of it in terms of, oh, bummer, I missed out on that one, or gosh, that could have been 34K toward my goal. I just think, you know, the bigger the no, the bigger the yes that's coming. And I just got to keep plugging away. So that's one thing I tell myself. I don't know. Top three, you know, I've kind of talked about, the treat people first. You know, it's about the person first. And, you know, to your point about getting in and, you know, taking your time, not the easy route, you know, if you flip everything on its head, that's the cool thing about life. We'll probably talk about life. We should do a podcast about life. Just kidding. But you know, that's everything's kind of backwards when you think about it. You know, you got to let go to gain. You got to loosen up to enjoy. And so for me, it's, you know, flipping that mindset on, oh, I got to do all this extra measurements, when really that's a perfect time to ask about the picture you're looking at, and, you know, to really take the time to get to know them. I could probably line up all the clients I've ever had, and you know, they became a customer because there was something personal I connected with them on. You know, sure, there's the ones that you strictly kept business, you know, but 95% of the time it's because you connected on that level with someone. And you got stories for days about why people buy. It's not even to do with, it's nothing to do with the product itself, and everything to do with
insert any product in there. It doesn't matter.
They're buying
about the
from
product.
You. Yeah,
it's who they're buying from, you know. And I argue with my buddy all the time about this, because he says that they don't have to like me to buy from you. I get that, but it makes a whole heck of a lot easier, doesn't it?
A lot easier.
He's like, I get that. I mean, you can still do it and close on hardcore and get the deal, but man, wouldn't it be easier if they liked you that much more? And I also have a lot of reps that always come to me and say, "Well, hey, how do you close? And why do you close so much? And tell me all your closing secrets and all these different things." And I was like, "Look, it's not that big. I don't have a ton of secrets. I mean, I can show you close after close after close. I really don't use a lot of those closes. You know why? I close all the doors before I get down to the price. I make sure that people are committed, and I'm going to do a pre-close before I finish." Because I'm going to go through each step of my presentation and make sure that they're okay and comfortable and understand each part before I move on. And by the time I'm finished, I know where I'm at with it. Now, sometimes I might get shocked with it. Most of the time, I know where I'm at, whether I'm getting a deal or not. And 4 times out of 10, I'm getting a deal. Period. Why? Because I'm confident, and that's my first one. I'm confident.
Confidence.
So
Absolutely.
my first one's confidence for me. And you have to be super confident going in. You'll be confident in yourself. You'll be confident with your company, what you do, how you do it, your stature, your energy, all that going into it. The second one after confidence is passion for me. You got to be passionate. I'm talking like
they can read
passionate
it.
upon passion.
Yeah, they can tell if you're passionate about life, about your company.
That you got to bleed that company, whatever it may be. You have to really be entrenched with them, know all about them, and truly be passionate about the customer too. Not just about your company, but be passionate about them, care about them. If you don't care about them, get the F out of the business. You're not in the right business. If you're doing it just for you, you'll make money. You'll be one of those slimy sales guys that stays around for a couple of years. But you truly care about that customer, you're going to make a difference in their life. And that's the cool thing. If you treat it like that going to the home, you'll always be successful. Take care of them, care about it, be confident about your company, be passionate about what you do and how you do it. And last but not least, close.
Just ask.
Close.
Ask the question.
Well, not just ask. See,
and close.
See, unfortunately,
I'm reverse engineering how you close.
People saying just ask, and unfortunately they go, "Well, what do you think of this?"
No,
Caps, what do you think?
Would you like to get started? How does I'm reverse engineering the fact that you're closing by asking for the sale.
Yeah, so asking for the sale is probably the close is the most important, and asking for it and as they would say, we'll talk about how to ask questions, but assumptive, yes, close-ended questions in a way that they're going to place an order with you then that forces them to make a decision. And that's one of the key things in closing is lots of times we leave it wide open to where the people are just going, I don't know, I'm not sure, versus asking them a close-ended question. It's kind of like if I were to ask you where you want to go for dinner. Hey, where do you want to go for dinner? We could be talking for hours, depending on who you are. Right. All right, Ivan or Lori, you ask her that question, you're going to be for half an hour. She's going to go on and on. But if you say, hey, what would you like to this or this? Hey, do you want to go to Subway or do you want to go down to Jersey Mike's? Or do you want to go to Penn Station or do you want to go over to whatever the other sub place is? But I only give you 2 options or maybe 3 options, and I have you pick from one. And if you pick one or the other or a third, and then I can continue from there. And it's just like a dance. It's nice harmony. It's fun. That's all it is in a home. I really feel sales reps make it too hard on themselves. They get too caught up in their head. That's why, this whole closers mindset thing really resonates with me, is because they just think too much. Think less, go in there, have fun, know that you're going to do well, and know that you're going to be successful. That's half the battle. Half the battle's in yourself. Your biggest competition is you. It's always you. It's with the person looking in the mirror, right? If you're not responsible for yourself and looking at ways to improve, it's like the best in the sports. All right, what's your favorite sport?
Probably football. If I had to choose.
If you had to choose football, you pick football. So saying football is your best favorite sport out there, right? And we see all the pros that go out there and they practice on a regular basis, right? And they practice their craft and they screw up. They don't run the slot right sometimes. The ball doesn't get thrown right, but they're always practicing to get better and better. They're not perfect. They're always striving for it. It was said a long time ago, what is it? You strive for protection, but you reach excellence, right? Because we're never going to be perfect, but we can grab excellence. We can be excellent, right? And we can be damn near close to perfect.
Strive for good, you'll be okay.
Yeah, whatever.
That's the inverse, or the
But the whole idea is you're growing and moving forward. And I see too many times that reps with the chatter, because just like you, I get reps chattering at me too. And I hear that and I'm like, wow, that's cool, no problem. Yeah, I hear you, no problem. Okay. And it's just that kind of mindset and that kind of attitude. No wonder you're doing bad. You already defeated before you even got to the appointment. You've already told me why you can't sell this appointment. You didn't even tell me any reasons why you could sell it. And when I grew up in this business, we love challenges. Tell me I can't sell it. Okay, why? Well, it has this, and this. All right, I'm going to go sell it anyway. It was like a challenge. Where's the challenge at? I miss that, and I miss that grind and that challenge. Those are the ones that are gonna listen to this show. The ones that want that challenge, that want that grind, that like that want to get better at what they do. That like that gritty shit.
That's right. Should we change the name? Gritty shit. No, I mean my last place, man. It's something that I'd never sold. I'd never been in this industry at all, and I was me and another guy were going back and forth for top in the company, even though I was brand new at this, right? And I'd have other reps in the company come and ask both of us, like, what are you guys doing differently? And our first answer, and there's more complexity to it, but it was always just, don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole. It's care, talk to if you're not, and just care, treat people well. And that's literally, if I just had to narrow down, like, what do I do every day that's special? It's just being a good human person and doing all the things you talked about too. But yeah, not overthinking it. I would go along and I'd say to struggling reps, hey, why don't I come with you and just watch what you're doing? And they were overthinking from the moment we'd even walk up. And so I'm looking forward to digging into all this. And, we're just here to explore.
I'm curious, your first appointment you ran with the new company you're with?
With the new company I'm with?
The one you're with now. Very first appointment you went and ran. Did you sell it?
I did not.
You did not?
No.
What happened?
It wasn't even a product we offered.
All right, no, first appointment you had that you have a presentation.
Had a presentation.
Did you sell it? It should have been your next one, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what was my next one. They all, I don't know, I can't even remember like last week.
How about your first company?
First company? I sold my first appointment there.
Yeah, you did? Okay.
Yeah. That was my goal going into that appointment. And then he was like, we need this. I'm like, we don't offer that. But my goal walking in was, I'm going to sell my first appointment at this company. And then it wasn't even something we
I think one company I did not get it, but most companies I did. And I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, if I went back and looked at it, it's probably like how we're going to look at this first podcast, right? We're like, what the hell? We have no idea. But hey, you know what? That's the difference between sales reps. We just go out and do it. We'll figure it out. We'll get better. We're going to do it. That's the same thing, though. So what should we talk about for our next podcast? For the next one, do we go ahead and just keep talking about closing and go into specifics? Like overcoming, or do we talk more about?
You got social media, right?
Oh, me?
Or you got people you talk to. I don't know if we have to decide right now. I'm gonna ask some peeps and be like, hey, what are you guys struggling with? What's going on? And maybe you do the same. Bring that to the table.
I think it's going to be right now getting estimates.
Getting estimates?
Yeah.
Getting other estimates. I hear that all the time this time of year. Yep.
Right now, because right now is the time. I think we can have a couple episodes on that talking about it, because you still have a couple home shows out there, even with COVID, right? Depending on what state you live in. Right. And then on top of that, you have everybody's getting tax returns, so it's home improvement time. They're getting several estimates. They're getting one of many home improvement projects done. So also we can talk about, making yourself a priority too.
Yeah, that's good.
So that'll be episode 2 coming up on the Closer Mindset.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the time today.
Caps, great one. Lynch, out.
We're out.